Hello and welcome along to EPL Weekly with myself, Joe. Alongside me today, Roz and Mus, and it is our end of season awards show, guys. Are you pumped for it?
Yeah.
Oh,
You sound well up for it, lads. Both of you sound so up for it. Come on! I can't wait to see what you've chosen for, your player of the season, your team of the season, manager of the season. And we've got some fun, interesting awards to go along with that as well. Roz, quickly, is that Millwall's new third kit you're wearing?
the way that kits are going, could be. Have you seen Inter Milan's? Is their fourth kit next season?
Yeah, so it's a work of art. It looks like Picasso,
It's like David Hockney or someone. It's shocking. It's absolutely shocking kits for next season. Chelsea's that they're wearing already. That sort of weird kaleidoscope. Oh, terrible kits. Keep it simple.
Keep it simple. Keep it simple. Millwall. Mus, got the PSG jacket on there. How you doing?
Yeah, I always said it. I'm a sucker for PSG merch, so
You are. You love it, don't you?
Move it up.
Have you ever been to Paris?
Yeah, I think only on like school trips and maybe one like family holiday. But I'm not actually a fan of the city, to be honest.
No, nor am I.
I'm joking. But anything with the Air Jordan logo on always seems to get me.
Yeah, well, there you go. Lots of good graffiti in Paris. That's what I noticed, especially in the Bastille area. Anyway, should we get on with the show? If you like what you're watching, then make sure you subscribe to the channel and like this video as well, and turn your notifications on so you never miss a stream. Throughout the summer, we are going to do daily Euro 2020 shows. They're going to be short little shows, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and it's just going to be an update for the Euros. We'll talk about the matches from the day before. We'll have a bit of maybe some trivia, some topical chat, some bants. And one of these guys, at least one of these guys, will be along here with me. So if you want to see a bit of that, stay tuned and turn your notifications on. It's going to be a laugh. It's going to be so much fun. It's going to be bants. It's going to be mega lols, isn't it, guys? Are you looking forward to it?
I like how you're talking to the kids there. It's great. Using all the sort of
talking to the kids.
Words. Yeah,
what kids?
Down with the kids, Joe. You've got that sort of like
down with the kids.
Bants, lols.
Okay, boomer. Okay, right. Should we get on with the awards? Let's see where the awards are. What have I done with the awards? Oh no, don't worry. We haven't actually made.
I've actually got trophies.
Yeah. Can you imagine if we made trophies and sent them to the players that we've chosen for our awards?
Next year, we'll make them out like tinfoil.
Oh my god, that is an amazing idea. We should do that. We should definitely do that. Okay, our first. I mean, we're kind of doing it in the wrong way. We're going to do it in the order that most awards shows don't do. We're going to start with the biggest ones and we're going to work our way down. So, first of all, player of the season. All together after 3. 1, 2, 3. Kane. Gundogan? Really?
Yeah.
I mean, he's all right for a string of matches, but he wasn't exactly.
He had a very good 4 months.
Yeah. No, I think that
justify yourself.
No, I mean, no. I think you guys are wrong. I'm just, it's the joy of doing
Harry Kane.
Show is that
Harry Kane.
Yeah.
Most goals in the season, most assists in the season. The last player to do that, who was that? Henry.
Just to add some numbers to that, that's 23 goals, 14 assists. That's a goal involvement every 83 minutes.
Yeah, and what did he win at the end of the season?
Doesn't matter.
Exactly. So no, it just goes to show.
Playing with Kevin De Bruyne and Co.
It just goes to show that people have different perspectives, different views on what it means to be player of the season. I think it's the player that had the biggest impact on the most successful team. And for me, that was Gundogan.
Okay.
He carried the team, and from the 3rd of January onwards, when they went Stamford Bridge and won 3-1, and that was that transformative game where Guardiola realised he could play without an attacker, a central striker. So he carried the team when Aguero was out, when De Bruyne was injured. He was the one that stepped up. He has a goal every 2 games for a player that wasn't seen as an attacking midfielder beforehand. He scored 13 goals in 28 games. His previous 4 seasons, he'd only scored 15. So someone who stepped up to the plate and essentially carried his team to the title. I think he deserves it. Harry Kane, like he's won 2 golden boots before, you know.
Can I just make a point? I don't think it was Chelsea away when Guardiola realised what a false 9 was. I don't think that was.
No, that's not what I said. But that's what you heard.
Yeah.
Buds, Joe.
In fairness, that was, I think, when Man City did win the title. I don't think it was necessarily that, they performed better when they lost to Bruyne and Gundogan kind of stepped into that more sort of number 8, number 10 role. People forget. I mean, if you look at the actual points totals this season and points tally for second, points tally for first, Champions League and all that, they're incredibly low.
Well, you can actually see that on the screen now, Ros. Just over my left shoulder, we've got the final Premier League table down the side of the screen. So
there we go.
Illustrating your point there.
69 Liverpool, is it? To memory? Yeah, and they finished 3rd. So that's shocking. I mean, Man City, if we're talking great Man City side, we're surely talking about the ones that got to 100 last season, Liverpool in the 90s. So City did have a massive dip and people would kind of written them off the title, is the point I'm trying to get at. And it was in that period when they'd lost to Guerrero, they'd lost to Bruyne, but then just suddenly put together this winning streak. Or was it 20 in all competitions, 25 or something disgusting?
Yeah. I think
I was a big part in that, so I do see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
But he didn't have goal involvement every 83 minutes, did he? So.
Yeah, but it's that game where Pep realised he can play that system with this group of players. So he nominally had De Bruyne as the false 9, and they had 3 goals in the first half hour: Foden, De Bruyne, and Gundogan, and the game was wrapped up, and the season was wrapped up, and Lampard's career was wrapped up. So you can credit quite a lot to Gundogan.
Hey, he is very strongly rumoured with Crystal Palace. Step too far. No, but none of us have actually said Ruben Dias, who is the person I think that will actually win it.
Yeah.
He got the Writers Award, didn't he?
I
just think if I had to, I'd put him 3rd behind Gundogan and Harry Kane personally. But I think he probably will win it.
Is Kane's achievement more magnified because he's done it with such a shit team around him and a poor manager?
Yeah, I mean, look, genuinely, I think variety is the spice of life. You can argue for a number of different candidates, and for most of these awards, I have an honourable mentions category. Except in my honourable mentions, I've got Souček. So clearly, I've taken an alternative view to these awards.
You're looking at player of the season right now, not most improved.
Sorry?
You are looking at player of the season right now and not most improved, aren't you?
Well, Souček didn't. I don't have him as most improved. It was his first season in the league, Joe. So, in terms of biggest impacts on your team, I think Souček is worth a mention.
Yeah. Okay. Should we move on to our teams?
This will be fun.
Sorry, I'm being a bit of a wind up this morning. Okay, right. Let's start with Mus's team then, shall we? Okay, Mus has got. There it is. Let me just move it into place and move this thing out of the way. What's going on here? Okay. I'm having a technical issue.
You know what I've just realised, Joe?
What?
I didn't realise this category was our 11 of the season. I thought you literally meant team of the... I've got Leeds down as my team of the season.
Oh, right.
Luckily for us, I've misunderstood the task.
Leeds have been fantastic, and we'll get on to them because I've got a lot of a lot of things to say about Leeds later on in this awards ceremony. Okay, Mus's team goes like this: Martinez in goal, back 4, Cancelo on the right, Dias and Stones centre back, and Chilwell on the left. Kante holding midfield, Saka and Foden, then Gundogan playing in the attacking midfield role behind Kane and Salah. Let's look at all of our teams and then discuss after. Okay, Roz's team looks like this. Martinez in goal. Cancelo, Stones and Dias, the same. Shaw at left back. Ros gone for Muss's honourable mention in holding midfield. Souček behind Gundogan and De Bruyne, and then Mount and Fernandes behind Kane up top. And then my team, it's Leeds. No, not really. Martinez in goal. I've gone Cancelo at left back. Fofana and Diaz at centre back. Soufal at right back. Souček holding midfield. Gundogan and Mount behind Bruno in the 10. Salah and Kane up front. So,
I love that we've pretty much all gone for diamonds. Don't get many diamonds anymore.
we're diamond geezers, aren't we?
It's a good formation. Good old-fashioned formation.
It kind of does a diamond just lend itself towards the group of players that we're selecting, essentially?
I mean, it's the fact that there are so many good central midfielders and the wingers are pretty much attackers, aren't they?
Yeah.
But
So let's look at the main sort of contentious situation here. Mus, your honourable mention for player of the season was Souček, but he didn't get into your team.
Yeah, this is where I'm going to start realising the inconsistencies in my choices. But as I said, I thought by team of the season, you meant pick a team, and I'd just gone for Leeds. 5 minutes before we went on air, you said, can you quickly do an 11? But yeah, no, I think Souček, you could arguably have him in there instead of Kante, and maybe there's some recency bias that's crept in, but I think Kante had a really strong second half of the season, particularly in the Champions League. And he's been an integral part of Thomas Tuchel's Chelsea.
Fair enough.
I think Kante is back to world class. He had a dip starting with Sarri, I think, when Sarri started playing him above Jorginho because he was so dead set on getting his man Jorginho into that system. And it didn't really work for Kante. And I don't think he really turned trees up under Frank Lampard either. Not that many players did. But now he just looks back to his best. I think that he's absolutely world class, and particularly in the Champions League semi-finals, I thought was unbelievable. Back to the Kante we kind of knew from Leicester, from Chelsea, under Conte, just covering every blade of glass. Just unreal.
Yeah, back in his spiritual home at CDM. Another one then, between you guys. I mean, we all picked Cancelo. I squeezed him in on the left side of defence. You both put him at a more natural sort of right back position. Ros, you went for Shaw at left back. Mus, you went for Chilwell. Now,
just
explain, because I know you're a big fan of Luke Shaw, Ros. So it must have been easy for you to put him in.
We literally said just before we came on air that after that Europa League final kind of proved everything I thought about Luke Shaw, which is that I'd much rather have Ben Chilwell playing for England in the Euros, because Luke Shaw is very much a form player, and his mentality gets knocked and kind of flustered quite easily. When the shit had hit the fan in that Europa League final, he was anonymous, like really, really bad. However, my argument would be that Ben Chilwell has been a consistent 7 or 8 out of 10 for probably the last, how long has he been around? Like 4 or 5 years. So I'd definitely play him for England in the Euros. Luke Shaw has been 8, 9, sometimes I would say 10 in a lot of games this season. He's also been 2s and 3s in the earlier part of the season, but I won't blame that too much on him because, you know, he's playing next to Harry Maguire, so what can you do? But no, I would say, like, as an overall this season, I would say Luke Shaw over Ben Chilwell. However, who do I think is the better player? Who do I trust for England? I've got to say Ben Chilwell.
Interesting. Okay, so you both went for Diaz and Stones. I went for Fofana instead of Stones. I just wanted to highlight Wesley Fofana's season for Leicester. Stepped into the breach when they lost Soyuncu early in the season, and kind of made that position his own. And to come into, he's a young player, and to come into this league and and do that well, and it kind of turned out, you know, when Soyuncu was back, that they started to kind of dip again. Maybe they missed Fofana, but Leicester's scouting is insane, isn't it? Like the players they pick up.
I was just going. I think that Arsenal got the wrong one. There were 2 Saint Etienne centre half. One was Wesley Fofana, and the other one was William Saliba. Never really seen Saliba play much in the Premier League, but clearly Arteta doesn't really fancy him to take that step up when Arsenal are in dire straits and desperate need of a good centre half, and a right-footed one that would probably work quite well with the left-footed Gabriel. But it seems now that actually Wesley Fofana was the real gem of that partnership in France, and it's looking like Arsenal got the wrong one.
Yeah, it's like Tottenham buying Rebrov, isn't it? When it was Rebrov and Shevchenko. I mean, we've all gone for Martinez in goal as well. Absolutely blinding season. Another of Arsenal's transfer woes. 15 clean sheets in a season for Aston Villa, and it's not like he wasn't facing many shots. What an outstanding performance. Goalkeeper of the season, easily in my eyes.
Distribution as well.
Yeah. And it looks like he's going to nail down that Argentina #1 shirt as well, which was his reason for leaving Arsenal, because he wanted to be Argentina's #1. And it's between him and Geronimo Rui, who's the Villarreal keeper, I think, who you saw save one penalty the other night.
I rate him. Well, after the Arsenal game, like commanding his box, he was quite flappy.
We've not seen Martinez take a penalty yet, so we have to.
Cool. Okay.
That's a very good point.
Okay.
Is Caballero still playing for Argentina?
I don't know. I'm not an Argentinian football expert. I just knew about Martinez's situation. Okay. Let's move on to the next award. Manager of the season. The EPLW Manager of the Season award goes to. Ready, guys? 3, 2, 1. Bielsa.
Sure.
Who did you say, Roz?
I said Tommy Tuchel.
No, I said Bielsa, but I was of course joking. I could see you getting wound up by that now. No, it's Pep Guardiola. I can't believe neither of you have chosen Pep Guardiola. He won the league. How can you go against that?
I would say if I'm going for a team of the season, like Mus was alluding to, so like who is the team of the season, I would say Man City. I think it's a joke to say anything else than the team that finished first, really. But in terms of manager of the season, players at his disposal, I don't think this is even. I don't think it's Man City's best ever side. I don't think it's even Pep Guardiola's best Man City side. I think, again, we go back to November, December, and people had pretty much written them off the league. Yeah, they went on an amazing run after that, but we've seen what Pep Guardiola can get out of these players, and that's 100 points in a season. I think 86 isn't anything to kind of write home about, really, for the standards that they've set.
Good point.
I think for manager of the season, it's about what you pick up, what you're given, and how far you can take it. So I would say David Moyes is definitely an honourable mention. I think for where West Ham were, what he's done with them, the signings. I don't actually know how much of a say David Moyes has in transfers. I don't know how it works at West Ham. But Souček and Soufal, unbelievable signings, really completed that team, getting the best out of all his players and getting Europa League place, which is a phenomenal achievement. But I would say Thomas Tuchel, because he's taken a team that everyone was like, every Chelsea fan was cacking themselves over the Atletico Madrid fixture. They're going to get absolutely bad. He's taken a team that Lampard ruined, and I was saying for the whole season, like, the team is too good to be where they are with what he's doing with them. And it took Tuchel about 3 days. How long did it take him to concede a Premier League goal? He absolutely hit the ground running. He kept the players, the very few players that were playing well under Lampard have got better. I think Mason Mount's raised a level, added new things to his game, and is now just unreal. He's got the best out of Kante. He's got Kante playing to his level again. He's even improved Timo Werner, who is now
that's a bit of a stretch.
Slightly below average, but think about where he was.
Okay,
before.
Mus, you said David Moyes.
Yeah, so I agree with Roz about needing to balance expectations and resource availability. So that's why I've gone with David Moyes. Again, as Roz said, two of the best transfers in Souček and Soufal, and the way he's integrated them. Even bringing in a flair player like Ben Rama, not someone that you typically associate with the Moyes team, he's done well, and he's improved the players that he has. At one point, we would have all had Cresswell as the left back of choice. Had it not been for injuries, had the highest attacking returns at one point. Yeah, and finishing 6th is considerably, overachieving. So I think he deserves it. Yeah.
Fair dues, fair dues. Okay, it's worth saying as well, if you are watching this and you've got your opinion on the awards, then jump in the comments and tell us who you think should be getting these awards. Alex Russell in the comments says, Big Bad Roz. Big Bad Roz.
Hey.
So you've got a fan watching, it would seem, right? Okay, let's get on to our next award, shall we? And it is Goal of the Season. Should we do the 3-2-1 reveal again?
Are we doing like player and then team? So it's like,
I'll just do player. I think it's obvious what goal it'll be.
Yeah, fine.
Okay, you ready? 3, 2, 1. Cavani.
Bruno Fernandes.
I've gone for the Cavani lob from last week. I'm just putting it out there. That was filth.
That shouldn't have stood. That didn't hit Bruno on the way there, so it should have been offside. I like my goals to be, proper.
Okay. Tell us about your goal then.
I've actually gone for the Bruno Fernandes goal against Everton. The one where he retired Tom Davis, where he sort of picked it up, did a little shoulder drop. Davis went running out of Goodison Park. And then just opened that and then just.
I want to see your Bruno Fernandes shoulder drop again. That was brilliant. That was poetic.
Mate, you ain't seen me in 5-side.
I have. Mus.
Yeah. And you've lived to tell the tale.
Just. Mus, who was your goal? Madison, did you say?
No, I went for Alisson.
Alisson. Oh, right. Of course.
I need to say which game it was. No, you guys get it. So
yeah, I see where you're going.
I like a goal that is impactful, both within the context of the match and the season. You guys have both gone for goals that ended up being kind of really disappointing draws for Man United. Whereas Alisson's goal was worth like 100 million to Liverpool, paid off his transfer fee, is going to go down in history, etc., etc. But I can see kind of in terms of the individual brilliance, Cavani's one is worth a mention. My honourable mention was to Eric Lamela for the Rabona nutmeg goal in the North London derby, but I discounted it on account of Spurs losing the game and him getting sent off after the goal.
Yeah, not quite the impact it needed to fit the criteria for Mrs. Goal of the Season. Nice though, I like it. I like this. I like the selection.
No one's mentioned Fernando Torres' Zolu impression.
Oh yeah, away at Newcastle.
Was it that? Yeah. Keeper should have saved
it. Okay, well, I mean that's a pretty quick one, isn't it? Goal of the Season. So interesting. Lots of very different decisions. I'm liking this. I'm really enjoying this. It shows how exciting the EPL really is, and all of the different kind of aspects to it. Okay, let's move on then. Most improved player. Now this time, maybe we'll take it one turn by turn because I feel like it's going to be very different.
So we can actually hear what the other people are saying.
Yeah. So I'll do mine first. Honourable mention was Fofana, who I explained earlier, got into my team. Even though it was his first kind of season in the league, but he came in pretty green and he looks like a solid, I want to say top 4 centre back, but obviously they didn't finish in the top 4. But I'm going for Croydon.
Oh, okay.
Emile Smith-Rowe. I've watched a lot of him, obviously watching Arsenal a lot. Remember, if you're watching this and you've got an opinion, get in the comments. Tell us who your most improved player of the season is. Yeah, I've gone for Croydon. He was very much a peripheral player. Looked like he was kind of on the way out of Arsenal, to be honest with you. Arteta showed a bit of faith in him, and then he's just become the guy we depend on pretty much. And he's the most impressive player in an Arsenal shirt whenever you watch them play.
Yeah, but I don't know if that's improved. Obviously, you're talking about a player that was out on loan at Huddersfield, I think it was last year. But he kind of hit the ground running. I don't think has dipped off at all. Maybe like most impressive player, biggest surprise of the season or whatever. But I want my most improved player to be like absolute dog shit, like really, really bad, and then raise the level.
Oh, good.
It's all about trajectory, you know.
Whereas, in my Sunday league team growing up, most improved player was the only award I'd ever win at the end of season. That hits home.
Oh, Ros, who did you go for then? Put us out of our misery.
I'm gonna go for Harry Maguire because when he got injured, you know, he was just such a relief.
It all makes sense now. That's why you said the dog feces comment.
Yeah. No, it's definitely
Harry Maguire,
definitely not Harry Maguire.
the most expensive defender in the world.
Yeah. Definitely not Harry Maguire. It's I'm actually going for Ndombele because I know you two as Arsenal boys won't like to give Spurs any credit or Mourinho. The fact is Spurs did beat Man United 6-1 at Old Trafford. Spurs weren't. I mean, Harry Kane. Like, there's a reason that he got so many goal involvements. There's a reason that him and Son, I think, equalled the record for most.
Yeah.
Word.
And that reason is that reason Tango and Ndombele.
Ndombele was key to that. He was unbelievably bad last year, playing in a sort of holding role, which is kind of what he was bought for. Mourinho then started playing him in a number 10, and I thought was absolutely sensational. His touch, his movement, his little sort of getting out of tight areas and just skill, just the level of skill. I never knew he had that in his locker. Scored a cracking goal, if you remember. The sort of job over the goalkeeper from the side. Unbelievable goal.
Sheffield United, wasn't it?
There were bits of pieces where I was like, who is this guy? I don't recognise him.
Ros, I mean, personally, I don't know if that's more of a shout for Mourinho, isn't it? For making the tactical choice. And I'd say personally, his centre midfield partner has got a bigger shout, and Højbjerg has got a bigger shout at being most improved.
No, but he hasn't improved because he was sensational for Southampton. That's why they bought him. Whereas Ndombele, but on the ball, his touch, his actual ability on the ball was really poor last season. And all of a sudden, he's turned into like a French Lionel Messi. We don't like to do exaggerations on this show.
No. So we've got the Croydon De Bruyne, the French Messi. Merce, who have you gone for?
I've gone for the Nigerian Shearer, someone who has someone who started showing a bit more of his middle name, Kelechi Promise Iheanacho. I think he has covered up for a drop-off in form for Jamie Vardy. He provided Rodgers with an alternative selection that meant he didn't have to rely on James Maddison so much, and he was absent of injuries and disciplinary issues and whatnot. And when Harvey Barnes was injured as well, they needed that restructure, and he came in, scored 12 goals, 2 assists. Looks like, he's the future. So when Vardy does eventually go off into the sunset, they've got a ready-made replacement. And also, I've added an extra award for Iheanacho.
He's not a hamster dying. He's not going off into the...
It's imagine like Jamie Vardy in like a cowboy hat.
Yeah.
You get the silhouette and he's just like go on his arm.
It's like Merce, Vardy's gone to the circus.
Well, I was going to say when Vardy eventually retires, but I thought he's not necessarily going to wrap up his career at Leicester, but whenever he moves on. But I'm going to combine this award for Iheanacho with another award, and it's the Craig David Award for getting busy every day of the week, because Iheanacho became the first player in Premier League history to score a goal on every day of the week.
Mate.
Yeah, different types of business, I think.
That's a brilliant shout.
Craig was about scoring goals. Well, I mean, I've euphemism.
Yeah, no, fair enough. But a player we haven't mentioned that was my honourable mention is Bamford. which I think fits the Ross criteria of
Yeah.
having previously been.
Absolutely. Let me speak.
No. Go ahead. I was going to say, it fits the Ross criteria, having previously been dog, etc. in the Premier League, and then coming up and being the second highest scoring Englishman, 17 goals, seven assists.
He was dog in the Championship, mate. I saw him pretty much every year. Live once a year, and then away games on my laptop. And he fitted in well at Middlesbrough, and that was about it. And he caused us absolute murder against when he was playing for Middlesbrough. Everywhere else he went, he was meant to be like, Bamfordinho. He was like so highly rated coming from that Chelsea Youth Academy. Higher than Loftus-Cheek, higher than a lot of those players. Traore and all that. Never really did it. Leeds, even when he was playing for Leeds last season, they got Eddie Nketiah in on loan. They got a player in on loan from Monaco, which worked out really badly. All that money Leeds. See, they've got quite a lot of money. I get what you're saying in terms of, yes, I mean, how well I thought he would do versus how well he did, fine. However, he does also have the most missed chances. So in terms of, all the XG Kings and stuff, I wouldn't ever call him clinical. It's just the way Leeds play, kind of. He gets a lot of opportunities.
So that's our most improved player then. Let's move on to the next award. And this one's going to be a little bit controversial, I feel, because I know who I've gone for. Best signing of the season. I'll let someone else go first this time. So take it away, Mus.
So I've gone for Ruben Dias, £61 million signing from Benfica, and as we discussed earlier, is up there as potentially player of the season. My honourable mention was Martinez, because of all the reasons we mentioned earlier. 15 clean sheets out of 38 games is a great return. But yeah, I've gone for Dias.
Yeah, Dias essentially won City the league. It's kind of like Van Dijk, wasn't it, for Liverpool? When they brought Van Dijk in, it was the final piece of the puzzle and they were able to win the league. I think Dias has been that for City as well. Ros, who did you go for your best signing of the season?
So I think Dias is a good shout, but I mean, 60 million.
Does the price matter? We're talking just if they're a good signing or not. It doesn't matter how much. It's not bargain of the season, is it?
I mean, in terms of value, no, I think price definitely does matter, because if you signed Mbappe tomorrow for a ridiculous fee, he probably would win you the league. It doesn't. It's not like.
So that would be the signing of the season, wouldn't it?
Now the transfer market. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know.
Ruben Dias was like one of the most sought after defenders in Europe. Man City got him for a high price tag. I think he's improved the team.
I feel like we need another award for bargain of the season as well. I feel like we need best signing, and also best kind of, I don't know, bargain.
It's the signing that we're talking about. I think it's actually just a really good transfer, and for a good transfer to be a good transfer, you need a little bit of. We're talking about the transfer itself, not necessarily the player. Well, that's why I've taken it. So I've actually gone for a joint first place for this one, and it's Soufal and Souček. And again, we've kind of spoken about them, but in terms of the price, in terms of who had actually heard of them when they came to the league.
Well, okay, hang on.
And again, how well West Ham have done from them coming into the side.
Soufal was 5.4 million, right? Souček 19 million.
Yeah. So that's they're both cheaper than Leeds' average spend on a player, and they finished higher than Leeds.
Well, it's funny you should say that, because I've gone for Rafinha, 15.7 million.
No, you haven't.
15.7.
17, 18 million.
15.7 million.
Bargain. 6
goals, 9 assists. It's an absolute bargain. It's cheaper than.
If I in the Championship, you're
cheaper than Souček. He's done better. Rafinha, he's been quality for Leeds. He's been like the main supply line. It's been an absolute steal. What a great signing. Just everything they needed to.
Steal.
Yeah. Well, hang on. How is it? He's cheaper than Souček. He's a quarter of the price of Ruben Dias. That's a steal. He's had more goal involvements than the Nigerian Shearer.
Yeah.
Steal.
No, Not really. I also went for Diaz. I didn't go for.
Oh.
Oh, Ros, sorry, mate. I just wanted to. You're getting a lot. You're giving a lot of love to West Ham though today. What's going on? Are you all right?
You can't deny where they should be finishing, and where they ended up finishing being a massive gulf there. They finished in Europa League places. They probably should have finished mid-table. Leeds did a terrific job of finishing mid-table. They probably should have finished around mid-table. So, yeah, credit where credit's due. Fair play West Ham. They've had a really good season.
And fair play Leeds?
Nah.
Yeah, no, I went for Diaz as well, but Rafinha definitely an honourable mention. Like a good sign. I mean, for a Premier League first season in the Premier League, 15.7 million. That's really good. And it doesn't matter that they're Leeds and they've got the money and it's more than other promoted teams have spent on a player, but it isn't. Like he's been a good player.
Yeah, and I just back that up, Joe, and say Leeds United have the best points per million spent, right? So if you're thinking about value, they do have the best value investments. So
okay, but how many million do they pay Marcelo Bielsa, who's one of the best managers in the world?
I don't even think they pay him $1 million. I think he's on quite a meager wage. But in terms of like actual points per million, where Man United do really badly because they spend 85 million on Harry Maguire. Leeds spend money, but they spend wisely. The points per million return on player investments is the best in the league, and I think teams like Burnley are second, and we admire Burnley and Deitch for the frugality and good management. So it'll be a bit harsh to dismiss Leeds just because they spend money.
I think that again, they've got a world-class manager. We're talking about maybe in terms of the price that they spent on the return, fair play. I get that, but you're still talking about the caliber of the player. And if you're talking about the likes of Rafinha, for example, he was well known around Europe. He was Bruno Fernandes's sort of second-hand man at Sporting Lisbon. So actually, in terms of this is why I've gone for Souček, not many had actually heard of him. You can say what you like about the sort of 28 million or whatever, but he has taken them to a Europa League place. So for me, that's why I wouldn't go for Rafinha. Can we start talking about Leeds now?
Would Rafinha get in that West Ham team? Be honest.
Bowen's had a good season. In those positions, I mean, Benrahma, Lingard, if you're talking about that front attacking three.
He's not replacing Lingard, but surely he's getting into like West Ham don't know who they want in the other positions. They rotate it between about 5 different players for the 2 positions.
Yeah, I think you're being disrespectful to those 5 different players.
I think they'd love a Rafinha in there. 16 goals, 16 goal involvements could have been the difference. Could have put them in the top 4.
I specifically requested that we stop talking about Leeds.
You're going to send the boys round? Okay.
I seem to a court asking you. You then proceeded to talk about Leeds.
Oh, mate, you're going to love the rest of the show. Right. Worst signing. Should we do a 3-2-1 on this one?
Yeah.
And I'll say it quietly. Yeah. 3, 2, 1. Werner.
Again. What did you say, Mus?
I said Werner. What did you say?
He said William.
Yeah.
Well, I had to discount William on a technicality because I didn't think he was a signing, so to speak. He was just free agent that Arsenal picked up, but I would have gone for William as well. But given Werner was 48 million and how much was expected of him and how little he delivered.
I think William at 32 years old, but I think it worked out at around 30 million just on signing on fees. If you're talking about worst signing, then he did put a signature, so it is technically a signing. And Arsenal spaffed like 30 million, I think it was, for a 32-year-old who everyone said was washed up. Chelsea fans were pleased to see him go. They did it anyway, and look what he produced. That stunning free kick against West Brom. And
Very funny. And who did they replace him with?
Timo Werner, I thought, improved towards the end of the season, and Chelsea are actually my tip to actually win next year, and I think that he'll actually.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the Champions
League.
League.
Very silly.
He's going to make.
I'm hesitant to criticise Werner. I think next season he's going to be a very good player.
He's taken his one season to get into the league. It often happens with attacking players in the Premier League.
So has Kai Havertz, but he started to find his feet. I don't think you can say the same for Willian. Werner's a signing that could do stuff in the future. If you're talking about worst signing, what's the potential with Willian? It's absolutely shocking signing.
Did you go for Werner as well, Joe?
Yeah.
What were your reasons?
It's shit.
Yeah. Yeah. I think if you're a £48 million striker and the top scorer for your team is the penalty taker on 7.
That's something.
I think
that says a lot about
discounting future potential.
Yeah, I don't think.
That's something about Lampard, not about Werner.
Nothing's to do with Lampard, is it? Lampard's the one he scored most goals under Lampard.
He on his attacking free. And they've got lots of players there, but he didn't actually stick by anyone. Abraham was in and out of the side. Giroud was in and out of the side.
It's called rotation. That's rotation, Roz. That's rotation. It's like a, it's like Pep
it wasn't rotation because it wasn't done in a way, but it was that he just literally couldn't get the best out of his side. So he was just
I don't know. Werner scored a few. Werner scored, what, did he score like 5 or 6 goals in the first few games for Chelsea? He looked bang in form.
There we go. And had a really good end to the season and all. I thought. Not really good, but he definitely improved.
Well, how many goals did he score?
Doesn't matter.
It does, because he's a striker. His currency is goals. You have to score goals. Otherwise, what's the point in you?
Let's talk about Bobby Firmino over the last few years. Bobby Firmino probably...
Completely different type of player, different system.
No, he's a forward. His currency is goals, Joe.
No, he's a false 9. He's a different player.
No.
Werner's
If
a
you're talking about
striker.
forwards, the currency is goals and stuff. You can get different types of forwards. You can get players that open up space.
So Werner's not a goal scorer. That's not why Chelsea signed him.
First in the Premier League, I think you're being harsh. First year in a different league.
No, sorry. He can do it on international level. He did it in the German league. He did it in the first month of the season here.
I can't believe that you're both Arsenal fans. You've sat through that piece of shit of a season.
Here we go. Feel personal.
Go for Willian. Apart from anything else, he's kept the only good thing about Arsenal, which is promising youth. If he's done nothing else, he's kept them out of the side.
Yeah, I can't argue with the Willian shout, because I mean it's a very close second, but yeah, Werner is just the latest in a long list of strikers that Chelsea have ruined. Yeah, Mus, did you want to add something there? Sorry.
No, just, I was going to go for Willian, then I discounted him, partly on the technicality, but also just because I knew he'd be off, like a 32-year-old, and giving him a 3-year contract on that salary, it was always going to end badly. I didn't expect any better, whereas £48 million, prime striker that Liverpool apparently kind of wanted, but then Chelsea came in with a bigger beard and you thought, okay, he's going to be the big difference maker. And then he just disappointed. So,
if we talk about worse signing, surely the fact that everyone knew it was a shit signing makes it worse.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's all relative.
Signing itself, if you're signing a player for the future on a big price tag that you're hoping is going to be good, no one said it was a shit signing. Everyone said, well, it's a steal because Liverpool were after him. The actual signing itself wasn't, he hasn't lived up to it, fine. But if everyone knows it's a shit signing and they still go with it, surely that makes it worse.
But it has to be relative to the cost, relative to the team and the expectation. And I think, for Arsenal, you could maybe argue Thomas Partey has been a more disappointing signing than Willian because of how much was hanging on there, how much we thought he would improve the team. Whereas Willian, people just thought, what's the club thinking? This is just everything that's wrong about the way the club is run.
Yeah, I think there's an air of expectancy about the Willian one. But look, guys, we should probably move on because we've got a lot more stupid awards to get through, which should be more fun and less argumentative. Although the arguments are fun as well. I do enjoy a good debate / wind up Roz by saying Leeds are the best team in the world. Funniest moment of the season. Can I go first on this one? So I couldn't think of a Premier League one, and I know it's a Premier League show, and I'll get in trouble for that. But all I could think of was a Carabao Cup moment, and it's when Eric Dyer had to run off the pitch because he needed a shit. So loosely funniest moment of the season. That's it doesn't really count. So let's go for you guys.
I say the Dyer incident doesn't count on account of the fact that for the rest of the season he stayed on the pitch doing. It's a bit harsh, but my two funny moments are kind of linked to.
I've got two. They don't give the Player of the Year to two players. They don't. You don't get an Oscar shared between two films. You don't get a Grammy.
I eventually went with one.
Good.
But the honourable mention, I mean, both of them are kind of linked to Spurs because Spurs are just funny.
I specifically requested that you stop talking about Leeds.
The funniest point of this season.
I mean, I could have gone with that. But because one of the key features of this season was obviously no fans in the stadium. And then, reaction videos were such a big thing this season. And, shows like this on YouTube were a big feature of the season. So I found the Lanzini last-minute equaliser and the Spurs YouTuber community reaction to that hilarious. Just like, all the edits that get made of like 3-0 up. Oh, we're Spurs. Everyone's fearing us. To that's it. To a hands to the head was just epic. But in the end, I went for Tim Sherwood's commentary on the last-minute Bobby Firmino winner against Spurs, where I'll quote to you. He was saying, "Oh, it's another corner here. I'm not too worried about this corner. It might come back to bite me, but I think Spurs have the dominance in the air. I can't see anybody get their head on the first ball except for that one."
Brilliant. That is awesome. Go on, Roz.
I just thought of an honourable mention. I can't even remember what game it was. But who was it that where Davinson Sanchez sort of fell to the floor and tried to sort of...
That was against Man City. And it was my player of the season, Gundogan, who put him there.
Fair enough. And actually, if we're talking about most improved player, you'd have to say Davinson Sanchez is probably the biggest dip. I mean, for international, like he's been absolutely shocking this season. But no, one actually is a positive thing for Spurs. Is actually the first goal against Man United in their 6-1 demolition. And I sort of wrote down all the events because it was so many mistakes. Alan Hansen used to say comedy of errors, and this was 1, 2, 3, 4. But ball comes into the box. Pogba sort of haphazardly knocks it into his own box from a throw-in. Then Maguire tried to clear it, and it hit his defensive partner Bailly. But not like sort of Bailly tried to but up in the air. Then Bailly tried to clear it again. Then Maguire tried to clear it again, but knocked it towards his own goal. And it was like, I don't know if you're trying to clear it, if you're trying to knock it back to De Gea. Kind of did neither. And then this is just the sort of most beautiful. This moment that happened next is the funniest moment of the season. Luke Shaw looks like he could clear it. He could probably shield it to De Gea to pick it up. He's fine. It's Luke Shaw. He's the
best left back of the season. Yeah.
Like Harry Maguire, his own club captain, fucking pulls him out of the way, pulls him to the ground, which leaves the ball to fall to Ndombele to knock it in off De Gea. Everyone should just go and watch that goal again. It is a thing of beauty.
It's funny, actually. All of our funniest moments have involved Spurs. And Roz, you were making a joke saying, funniest moment of the season, Tottenham Hotspur. That was before you knew that we were all going to say Spurs stuff. Brilliant. And we've had a comment from Matt. He says, funniest moment, Bielsa interview after United beat Leeds 6-2. We played well. They weren't better than us. They only scored from our mistakes.
The man after my own heart. I mean, the best part of that was like all the pundits just going, didn't they do well? Didn't they just do? Oh, it was so good. It's the best thrashing that I've ever seen a team take back where they belong.
Oh, mate. Well, thanks for your comments, Matt. And if anyone else has got any comments, please chuck them in. We love to read out your comments and get involved in the conversation. The next award is for VAR of the season. Now, there are so many nominees for this one, so many contenders. Does anyone want to go first? I've got one with an honourable mention. I've got a close second, but I'll let you guys go first. So, Ros, do you want to go first on this one?
Yeah, sure. So, as any League fan will tell you, football is about the entertainment. It's about the enjoyment. And with this one, I don't know if you want to. Did you want like the best VAR call of the season? Because is it the one where they got it right? And I think there have been many of those, and VAR gets a bad rep because we only talk about where it goes wrong. And I think there are plenty of examples throughout the league where, on the old system, the table would look very different.
Yeah, yeah, Arsenal would have been fourth without VAR. It has come to light.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda. But the fact is, we did have VAR, and the most enjoyment I got out of a VAR decision, was when Crystal Palace were 1-0 up against Leeds United. And then Patrick Bamford equalised, or so he thought, because his arm was offside, because he was like that, pointing to where he wanted the ball, and like a little bit of his shoulder, which he could technically have hit the ball with, even though it was never going to happen. Balled offside, Leeds go on to lose 4-1. And it takes a lot for me to enjoy a Palace win. But in terms of like VAR and the decision that was called, the fact that they could have levelled it up and then went on to lose 4-1, love VAR.
I'm sorry, but that, I mean, yeah, if you're talking most shocking decision, yeah, I agree. That is, I mean, that's unbelievable. You can't score with your shoulder from 30 yards out. Why is that?
Yeah, but the fact is that he could. I mean, you're saying
what? Have you ever seen someone score with their shoulder from 30 yards out? You have to hit it pretty hard, wouldn't you?
Right, because he could have taken a touch and then, or like, you know, just done a Phil Jones, just
kick the ball in his own face?
Yeah, just kind of like that. A bit like my shoulder dropping 5-a-side. No, it arguably shouldn't have been offside, but I really loved that it was called offside. It's great.
You're just hating on Leeds, but as a byproduct of that, you just said you enjoyed watching Palace. Mus.
It takes a lot.
Mus, what's your VAR of the season?
So to keep it brief, I mean, I didn't want to go for something that arguably similar to what Ros did. I didn't want to go for something that is actually more the rules of the game, not being fit for purpose, rather than like something that is exclusively VAR's fault. So my runner-up was the Martial red card and that 6-1 defeat at Old Trafford that we just mentioned, where he just tickled Lamela on the chin because Lamela had already swiped at him, and then he ended up getting a red card, and then the capitulation happened, and then that was pretty ridiculous.
For a very brief time, but yeah.
Exactly. But I ended up going with the Van Dijk injury, because I think that was pretty ridiculous. Like, it had the biggest impact on Liverpool's season, and arguably you can't prevent the injury happening, but you could at least punish the player that did it. And the argument that, the ball was dead, it was offside, VAR can't get involved. But then Neil Mopey, my FPL player, can get sent off after the final whistle. Well, the ball's bloody dead then as well. So I thought that was ridiculous, the fact that Pickford got away with it, and then Liverpool season went up in flames, and poor Van Dijk still not been back on a pitch since.
Yeah, I mean, that's very good point. Ros, go on.
If we get the Netherlands in the semi-finals and Pickford's playing and Van Dijk isn't, you'll be saying something different.
I don't know. I mean,
it'd be very tactical from Jordan Pickford.
Is that the Millwall mentality?
Foresight. Yeah, if I could clean him out.
Do him now. Do him early.
By that logic, he would have spent all season just trying to take out every single European player.
What, have you been
Have you
watching
heard the thing
Jordan
on,
Pickford?
I heard the thing with Harry Redknapp, where he's on a radio show with his son, Jamie Redknapp, and he was with Frank Lampard Senior as his second as assistant coach, playing for West Ham, and Jamie Redknapp does like a shocking tackle when I think on a West Ham player. The West Ham player comes back, then Frank Lampard Senior in front of Harry Redknapp goes, "Boy, that Jamie's left one on you. You need to go back out there. You need to hurt him. You need to hurt him. Let him know you're there. Like, break him in half. Fucking break him in half." And Harry Redknapp's just going, "That's my son."
Oh, it's shoe on the other foot. Yeah. My VAR of the season is also Matt's come back in the comments again. He said, well, he agrees with me. It's Man United getting given a penalty after the full-time whistle against Brighton to win the game. Do you remember that one?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of what Brighton have been involved in those ones, haven't they? Most, like you say, Mopé getting sent off after the full-time whistle was blown. Also conceding a penalty after full-time. The ref blew the whistle, didn't he? After, was it a corner, wasn't it? And there was a foul in the corner, but the ref already blew for full-time. The United players surrounded the ref. The ref did his classic, like the international signal for shut up and move away. I'm trying to listen to what they're saying on VAR. Do you even know? Do you know what's going on? You know, this is professional football at the end of the day. Anyway, right. So yeah, that was mine. Let's move on then, shall we, to best kit. Now, don't know about you guys. Close second for me was Man City's black Aztec away shirt. Beautiful, beautiful kit. But by far and away, the best kit of the season for me is Leeds' third kit, that burgundy camo. Beautiful, beautiful kit. Mus, who did you go for, Mus?
So my runner-up was the Wolves' third kit, because I love the fact that they were just embracing the fact that they're basically the Portuguese national team. But
Oh no, that one.
Oh, right.
Yeah. I thought you meant the second. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about the blue sky one. That's disgusting.
No. It was. I'm terrible. Basically, the purple and green one, the one that looks like.
Yeah.
But no, the best kit of the season for me was the Leeds home kit. I love the simplicity of it. You got the 3 Adidas stripes, white, crisp,
Beautiful kit.
beautiful, back where they belong.
Lovely. And Roz, do you want to complete the set for us and go for Leeds' away kit?
You know what? I didn't actually mind their green and sort of navy striped one. That was an alright kit. I'll tell you the problem with the home kit is that it was so cheaply manufactured that in the modern game where every player wears a black sports bra, every time it goes up close on a Leeds player, you can see the sports bra through the shirt because it's such a thin white. Just in terms of sort of manufacturing costs, like, you know, pull your finger out.
They spent all their money on players, Rob.
I love how Roz is like berating those poor kids in the Burmese factory putting it together at like 3p an hour.
Yeah. Sort it out.
But no, I mean, to be honest, I think the kits this year have been absolutely shocking. We'll get on to worst kit in a second because, I mean, there are lots of candidates there. In terms of good kits, I found 3 that I actually actively liked and thought, oh, that's, you know. One of them was actually Arsenal's home kit. I thought wasn't too bad. Much better than their away kit, which was, I can see what they were doing with the marble floors. But
let's not go into that one too much, yeah.
Just really quite grim. No, I thought that Leicester's burgundy, I think will go down as a iconic kit because it's what they've won the FA Cup final in. It'd be one of those kits that you look back in 25 years or maybe even like 15 years. You know, when like a kit gets released and when they release it, they go, this is a nod back to that very successful season. Because I can see burgundy, which you don't really associate with Leicester City. It'll be one of those. But I'm going to be really boring. I think my favourite kit this season, looking down them, was actually Aston Villa's. Probably the same reason Aston Villa's home. Same reason as Mus, keeping it simple. I think Kazoo looks very smart as a sponsor, and crucially is not a betting company. So well done to Aston Villa for that. And yeah, just quite a nice kit. Looks quite smart. So Villa home.
Yeah, I remember watching Villa Everton, the Kazoo derby. That was funny, wasn't it? Okay, let's get on to worst kits then. So, I mean, there's a few here. I've actually gone. I've got 4 written down. I don't know if I'll let you guys. I'll let you guys go first on this one though. So Mus.
I've just gone for one, and that's the Chelsea home kit. The Chelsea third kit, which
Palace
was a
kit.
horrible attempt at mimicking Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
Crystal Palace's home kit.
Like I say, there are so many. That's a really good shout that I didn't actually think of. I would say in third place, it would be the Man City's third kit, which kind of looks like a granny's tablecloth.
It's the pink paisley, isn't it?
Yeah,
Paisley.
Yeah. Is that a Tesco kitchen towel?
Yeah. It's like, come on, you're one of the richest clubs in the world. You could do better than that. In second place, I've gone for the aforementioned Arsenal second kit, which just looks like I don't want to get into what that looks like. But no, in first place, I've got to say the Man United third kit, which kind of looks like a taxidermist has done a really bad job on a zebra. He's like, does that go there? Does that go? Yeah, that's about right, isn't it?
Yeah, the 4 that I went for, basically, we've mentioned them all. So, Man City's pink paisley, the Wolves blue sky one, Man United zebra, and the Chelsea Palace kit. But the winner has got to be that Man United zebra kit. What the absolute fuck is that kit all about?
In fairness, the home kit kind of looks like a London bus, doesn't it? If you go up close on the home kit, they've got that kind of unfortunate yellow sort of pattern thing, and it just looks exactly like a London bus.
Yeah,
great.
I mean, just on the Man United zebra kit, I thought it was quite fitting because they spent all season with really poor crossing.
Love it. Very good. Very good. Okay.
You get a little thing up, like one of those jingles, which comes up and it sort of circles in on the screen. It goes, "It's the worst pun of the show."
or Roz, you should do that. You know the peep show where Dobby goes, "Jeff's doing a joke. Jeff."
Yeah. Good. Let's do it a pun. And then Joe needs to just go, freak.
Oh my god, that is hilarious. I might have to start watching Peep Show again. It's only been about 2 months since I last rewatched every episode.
Yeah, I was going to say it's a ritualistic thing for me, you know.
There's a great Twitter account which is the Peep Show script. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
Yeah, it's like literally a tweet a day, and it's just the next line.
The next line in the script. It's brilliant. Absolute genius Twitter account. Okay, if you're watching, remember, get involved. Tell us what you think about these awards. The next award is one put forward by... Did Mus put this one forward? The Scott Parker Award for Best Dressed Manager. So, you know, get in the comments if you're watching. This is a serious award from EPL Weekly. The EPL Weekly team have thought long and hard about this one. The Scott Parker Award for Best Dressed Manager, brought to you by the streets. Mus, who have you gone for?
Well, I mean, it's named after the guy. It's an eponymous award because he deserves it. Came with a tie clip whenever he went with a kind of 2-piece suit, and that's, you know, made it look good. When he went with the chunky knit, made that look good. Pulls off a cardigan better than, well, not like removes a cardigan.
Have you seen him pull his cardigan off?
He executes the wearing of a cardigan better than most Premier League managers. So I've gone with Scott Parker as my choice. I think we should genuinely send him, I don't know, like a TM Lewin voucher or something as a congratulations. But my worst dressed manager was club shop merchant Tommy Tuchel.
I'm actually going for Tommy Tuchel as my best dressed manager, if only because he's clearly keeping the club afloat. because he's just gradually turning more and more into the club shop, and he's really helping them out financially.
But
Uh,
Ross
man is a mannequin.
disrespected the FA Cup. He disrespected the FA Cup attire.
I just love it. He looks like a Smurf. He's literally just gradually every day turning into the club shop. He's gonna like wake up. He's gonna wake up tomorrow, and his like fingers gonna have turned into like a key ring. What is it? Shut up!
Champions League finalists key rings.
Yes. I won't tell you what's turned into a bottle opener.
Oh wow! So Mus, you're saying Tuchel worst dressed. Roz is saying Tuchel best dressed. Unbelievable. Yes, Scott Parker surely the best dressed manager. I mean, he's got to win something, hasn't he?
We're doing like best dressed. I was like, surely you would turn up to a club, you turn up to a wedding, you would just look really sharp. Imagine if Thomas Tuchel turned up to a nightclub.
You wouldn't get in.
yeah, he wouldn't get in. Imagine if he turned up to your wedding, if you'd invited him to your wedding and he just turns up head to toe Chelsea attire. It's got like a Chelsea beer hat with the two straws coming in here and Chelsea slippers, gloves on.
So this is like most celebrities don't like to get noticed in public, right? So they sort of do the cap and the glasses thing. He clearly does want to get noticed. I'm sure he just like walks around like, Chelsea manager. Chelsea manager.
He's the kind of person where you're like pre-match, you're walking around the stadium and you think, stay away from him. He looks like a bit of a nutter. He's got like everything. He's got like the little stupid man bag thing, like Chelsea man bag, Chelsea scarf round his neck in the like height of summer. Yeah, ridiculous.
I reckon he spends like pre-match instead of like doing any talks or putting the cones out and everything like that. Sort of about 20 minutes before the match, you'll actually find him just next to the guy that's selling programs. And it's just like, pre-powder program. Would you like a mug as well?
Yeah. Tries this beautiful keyring. My worst dressed manager. I can't believe you haven't said Pep Guardiola. What a disgrace.
Yeah,
what the hell? He turns up in some awful hoodie.
What did they say
Citizens.
Yeah, so that's the thing. It says open arms on it. So
Open arms.
He's raising awareness and money for a charity that's saving migrants, making perilous journeys across the Mediterranean. This is why I find it difficult, like taking the mick out of him, because he's doing it for a good cause ultimately. So fair play to him.
Okay, I didn't realise it was that. I literally thought it was the Tevez sign. You know, that's all I thought it was.
Yeah.
I thought it was a reference
in
to that.
previous seasons, he has worn his wife's designer clothes, so that chunky hoodie cardigan thing. Apparently, he was just publicizing his wife's boutique, and then he auctioned it off. I mean, that was pretty awful.
It's the apart from the fact that I think citizens is possibly the worst nickname for any football team ever. It's that hoodie that I can't stand. It kind of looks like he's sort of a skater boy. And he's
just a big Avril Lavigne fan.
Graffiti hoodie. Plus like sort of £500 white t-shirts.
He's a man that's desperately clinging on to his 40s, isn't he? Like he wishes he was still young and still one of the lads. I
mean, if Dele Alli was dating my daughter as well, I'd probably go through a midlife crisis.
Okay.
It's a fair shout.
Let's get on to worst haircut then. So, I mean, I struggled a bit with this one, but I've gone for Pogba.
Which one?
The current look. I find it...
I quite like that.
I find it visually arresting. I usually like what he does, but it's really... Yeah, there's something just... Yeah, no, sorry. It's like Bakary Sagna had a haircut.
I'm gonna go for I'll do best first, because I think honestly Dele Alli, we've just mentioned him, I just thought of him. His form has increased. Like he's really hit his best form again since going for that Ruud Gullit dreadlocks look, and he's managed to pull Pep Guardiola's daughter with it as well. So clearly working well for him. All the best, Dele. But in terms of worst, again I've got joint. It's Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. So I'm going to go for his lockdown trim.
Oh,
which wasn't really a haircut at all because he didn't like a footballer, that's for sure. Where he was kind of letting it all grow, and he sort of gained about 20 years. Just that sort of wild hair. So fair play to him for not getting a haircut when he shouldn't have been, which lots of players failed to do. But then the one that he's just got now, which is kind of, I just don't think it suits his face. He's got sort of a hanging. It just makes his face look like a really weird shape. So yeah. That's my reasoning.
This is possibly the shallowest award out of all of them. We're really like going in on like judging people, like really visual judgment.
Like, last time I was just like, oh yeah, Swansea, they're doing well. They've got this manager. He's been in. Like, he's the ugliest bloke I've ever seen. But he is. If you haven't looked him up yet, Steve Cooper for Swansea. In fact, you'll see him today at the playoff final. Weirdest looking bloke. So it's the shallow point of the show, so I thought I'd jump.
Just make it a bit shallower, yeah. Jump in the shallow end, Ros. Yeah, do yourself a favour. Mus, are you there? Yeah, sorry.
So yeah, I also went with Aubameyang's Travis Scott impression.
Yeah.
An honourable mention to Sadio Mane, whose hairline obviously can't keep up with his the speed of his running. So it just keeps going further and further back.
Yeah, probably Liverpool's most offensive aspect is Sadio Mane's hairline, isn't it? It's the furthest back.
It's funny how, like, I think it's just that we associate it with the haircut. But it's funny how, like, form does seem to change with haircuts. So Fernando Torres, for example, was one of the best strikers in the world. One in, was it 2008? Him and David Villa, world class, played for Liverpool, world class. And then he sort of went short hair. And he was half the player. I think that was before he joined Chelsea, and then just went down and down and down. Dele Alli, I think, has, genuinely improved.
Yeah.
He's getting trim. Never underestimate the power of a haircut.
It's true. I mean, you've improved since you had your haircut.
Do you reckon?
Nah, not really, just kidding. Honourable mention to Nathan Ake, if you're going to talk about the Hullet style dreads.
Yeah. I would tell where's dreads the best? I thought he would come up. He hasn't. Eplw, Eze, he wears dreads well. And I thought, when Match Today did their goal of the season, they had like 10 candidates, more than us. Eze wasn't there when he ran through everyone. Or his free kick. He scored a couple of very good goals.
But that's done on votes and nominations, isn't it, with Match of the Day? This is strictly our opinion, and that's why it's better. That's why you should watch this.
I'm just
Screw the BBC.
Eze, ex-Millwall.
Okay, we're coming towards the end, and we've got one more fun award to do. And this one's submitted by Ros. Who is the player that you would most like to go for a pint/Costa coffee with?
Obviously known as drink.
Well, I don't know. I didn't want to discount you.
To go to Starbucks. It has to be a Costa.
Yeah. Well, Starbucks aren't paying me to say it, so
that's fair. And Starbucks didn't have probably, I would say, the pun of the season. In fact, we need a pun of the season for EPLW,
Ooh.
and I'm going to go for Mrs. Held Costa.
Oh.
Held Costa and brought up the Held Costa. Held a Costa. Immaculate.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to agree with that. I've got to agree with that. I mean, Mus, I know you'll probably say one of mine, but I've got to agree with the.
Oh, you had a good one about Edison and the light bulb moment. That was great.
Yeah.
Oh, that just went over everyone's head, didn't it? I sort of gave up on the puns for a bit after that. I had a bit of a dip in form.
I never try. I'm just not in your guys' league.
I quite like the one about Spurs' defence being like a Kent border patrol officer because they make Lloris cross.
Yeah.
And that again, it's the best ones go over people's heads, Joe, if there's any consolation.
Right. Anyway, Mus, who are you going for a pint/Costa coffee with? And what you drinking? Where is it? Come on, go into super detail for me.
Yeah, it's a coconut latte on Greenwich High Street, Costa. And I picked one player, one manager. My player is Marcus Rashford. The least I could do is buy him a coffee to thank him for his amazing stewardship and leadership of the country over the last 18 months. And yeah, arguably his form has dipped slightly towards the end of the season, but given how much he's taking on off the field, and playing at one of England's top clubs as like the main man, nothing but admiration for him. In terms of managers, I've gone for Brendan Rodgers just because I think I'd love for him to like compliment my character, not in like a dodgy way, but I just think he'll really like gas me up, and I can probably talk him into giving me a job on the backroom staff of Leicester along with Colo. And a fun fact for you: apparently Sean Maloney's on Martinez's Belgium backroom staff team. Did you guys know that?
No.
Yeah, Scotland's Sean Maloney, one of the backroom assistants of the Belgian national team.
You would have had him at Wigan, I think.
Yeah,
that'd be it. Ex-Celtic Maloney, was his name. Yeah, good player.
Okay.
Good fact.
Can I do mine next?
Go on.
I'm going for Tea at the Ritz with Patrick Bamford. No, just kidding. Just kidding, Roz. Just kidding.
That's good. Oh, no. It's like that interview. Let's run up on it. Interview of the season. Patrick Bamford. Everyone says that I was posh. Sean Dyche was saying I was posh. What does your father do? My father's only an architect. I mean, I'm really not for money.
No, I'm going for a pint. I'm going for a pint of craft ale in Hackney Wick with Hector Bellerin.
Imagine the Instagrams.
Mate, my Instagram is weak as fuck right now. Like, it'll be so good. Like, just imagine the followers going bang, 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 bang. Me and Bellerin just like having a cheeky like gamma ray in like some trendy Hackney Wick canal side establishment. Yeah.
Him turning up in like a sort of Singing in the Rain yellow coat, open.
Ankle swingers, yeah, the full like low top DMs who would like just smash it. Big hoop earring there, looking like a bit like a pirate.
Glasses.
Yeah, I can genuinely imagine Roz walking into that pub being like, "You're right, Joe. Oh, you bought your nan." Oh, wait,
oh, right. This is great. This is my favourite award. Can we do this every week? Ross.
Let's go. I'm going to be boring. I was like digging a few players, teams out throughout there, and I got to this one. I was like, you know what? I'm going to be nice. I'm going to agree with Mus. It's got Marcus Rashford. Just seems like a good bloke, and let's face it, most footballers are twats. They'll get too much money when they're too young. I think it's actually very hard to stay grounded, particularly if you're a club the size of Manchester United and an England international. And the fact is that Trent also seems very down to earth, players like that. Jordan Henderson seems like a good bloke. But actually, in terms of the bad reputation that footballers get, I'd say Marcus Rashford's been an inspiration all year round, really. People say his form's dipped, I think. Maybe, but again, he's a young player at a big club. He's going to go through moments of being inconsistent. But he's also mainly been deployed on the right-hand side, where he's very poor to accommodate Pogba on the left-hand side. And Pogba's been amazing since he's come in, so it's been very hard to drop him. So he had a very poor final in the Europa League, but I don't think actually considering how much he's doing off the field, sort of daily calls to the inadequate Prime Minister, the fact is that he's done pretty well off the back of that. And he's 23, 22 for most of that when it happened. Unbelievable. So, yeah, least I could do is buy him Sambuca or two.
I don't think he drinks, mate, if I'm honest. Like,
I probably doesn't. I was thinking, I'll get 2 Sambucas there for me, and then he can have a pint of water.
He can have
In fact, he's buying. He can afford it.
Yeah, but you're getting him. You just said you were getting him one. I'm sure he'll just.
There you go, Marcus. I'll save you the journey to the bar.
He'll probably have a fruit shoot, I think. But yeah. Apparently, he said in the interview as well, didn't he? Did he say a post-match interview or press conference? Something he was carrying an injury for most of the season.
Yeah.
And
I can't believe he didn't. Yeah. Again, just in that final, he looked like shot to bits, and he didn't come off.
Mm.
It's like at the beginning, by the end of the first half, before extra time, he's just like shot to bits, and Solskjaer was like, No, I'm going to keep him on the pitch for a penalty. Let's take Pogba off, who looks fine. And then he still scored the penalty. Fair play, Marcus Rashford.
So I heard from I heard a journalist who was in the stadium talking about some of because the fans, well, there were a few fans obviously in the stadium, but you could still hear what the players were saying to each other. Apparently, at one point, Man United's third choice goalkeeper, is it Lee Grant?
Lee Grant, yeah.
Yeah, he was shouting at Rashford. He goes, Marcus, trying to get his attention, and then eventually, like, Rashford looks over to the bench, and Lee Grant points at Juan Foyth, and he goes, "He's fucked." And then apparently 2 minutes later, Unai Emery bought Foyth off.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the most offensive part of the final was surely Juan Foyth wearing a number 8 shirt as a right back, or centre half converted right back. Like, that's up there with like William Gallas wearing number 10 for Arsenal.
Yeah,
shocking.
Raquelme's turning in his grave somewhere. Not that he's dead.
Well, Morgan Schneidlin wearing number 2. There are a few of those, but
Can I give an honourable mention to Jordan Henderson?
just in general. Oh, as a pint.
Yeah, just someone to take for a drink.
I think Jordan Henderson, I mentioned him briefly in terms of like players that actually seem like good people. I've never known.
I mean, more to do with kind of what he's done over the last year for football.
Yeah.
You know, Rashford's done a lot outside of football, and what he's done has been absolutely amazing. But Henderson's the one who, you know, got everyone together, didn't he, to sort stuff out on a few occasions.
Never known a captain to do that. The whole idea of a captain getting all the other Premier League captains in the same room to make a unanimous statement, it's incredible, and on really big topics. And fair play.
Yeah, and when you say in the same room, you clearly mean the same WhatsApp group. But yeah,
of course, yeah.
imagine that
WhatsApp
WhatsApp
do a
group.
Zoom call. I'm sure.
Sorry, Ross, say that again.
I'm sure there was like a Zoom call or something like that. You know.
Yeah, I mean, imagine that WhatsApp group. Which club do you reckon has the most banter WhatsApp group?
Ooh, that's
from
a good
this
one.
season.
Banter in terms of, Spurs just are a banter club, but in terms of like intentional banter.
I reckon the Spurs one is just rubbish. I reckon it's just Dele Alli asking people what chocolate
I'm
bars
gonna
are
go for Aston Villa. I reckon John McGinn's got that kind of Scottish, dry sense of humour, and they just seem like lads.
I think there's only one, and I don't know if this is who you're thinking of as well, Joe, but I'm going to go with West Ham. Because you just know, like, everyone there thinks they're a bit of a banter merchant. So Mark Noble, even though he's like hardly played all season, he's the one sending all the gifts and the videos. And then Declan Rice, it's like the generational difference. Being like, that's not very funny, Mark.
Yeah.
And then obviously Lingard joins, and he's posting videos of his Michael Jackson dance routines and what's his name? Their left back, Arthur Masuaku. He's great value on Twitter. Always cracking a joke.
Oh, fair play. No, I wasn't thinking of anyone in particular. I sort of done myself up a bit here. I'm not sure who. I feel like. Do you reckon Jurgen Klopp's in the Liverpool one?
Probably, yeah. It must be. Yeah. He just like props up like every 2 weeks. Just going, probably like sends a voice note.
Yeah. Yeah. That was so funny, Sadio. Get back to training. I reckon the Arsenal WhatsApp group must have been a right laugh until Arteta turned up, because they were all just taking the piss out of everything, weren't they? Do you see the replay from earlier, lads? Oh, banter! I'm getting paid 100k a week, and I'm not even taking it seriously. Arteta turns up, no more WhatsApp.
Was that taking the piss out of everything or taking the piss out of Emery? I didn't hear.
Both. Yeah. Good evening. Yeah. No, he's. I was impressed with Emery. Did his interview in English, didn't he? And he's done that a few times. He did it against Arsenal. Against Arsenal, he didn't do it in English. His press conference, because he was mocked. In England.
Fair play. Anyone that's mocking Emery on Twitter and the fact that he said good evening instead of good evening and all that kind of stuff. How bilingual are you?
I am.
Yeah,
I'm
I'd
not
like to see
bilingual
them
myself.
like come to a new country.
I'm just a piss taker.
Yeah.
But you do get it wrong, don't
play
you?
to Bielsa, who oh no, he's translated, doesn't he?
Oh wow! Quick little sharp dig at Bielsa to finish the season. Lads, what a season it's been. Have you got any other memories from the show? Favorite moment from EPLW since we started this adventure together in January? It's been a fruitful few months. We've done over 100 uploads.
Is that right?
Yeah, including all of the trivia
Nice.
stuff and the 11s and all sorts. So we have made so much content, and it's kept me a bit sane through lockdown earlier this year. I don't know about you guys, but yeah.
Definitely, yeah. It's given me something to look forward to all week, especially when we weren't able to play football. So I really enjoyed it. Thanks for setting it up, Joe. That was definitely my highlight of the season when you said, "Oh, let's do this one-off show" back in January. I don't know if you saw the interview, the Guardiola one, where he was kind of really emotional about Aguero leaving. That was me when you told me Matt wasn't coming back. Like, we can never replace him. Yeah, it's grown and grown. Thanks to everyone who's watched. As you say, more than 100 uploads, 3,000 views, a couple of hundred subscribers. Yeah, the growth has been phenomenal, and long may it continue.
Yeah, nice on this.
Can't wait for the Euros.
Euros Daily coming up on this channel.
Yeah.
From probably we'll do the Monday before the tournament starts. The tournament starts on the Friday night, obviously, and we could do from the Monday. We'll do some build-up stuff. Hey, how does that sound? Monday the 7th of June. So you can join moi and potentially one of these two reprobates, and we'll go through some Euro stuff. I just want to give you a shout as well, personally, just for I did start the channel and set it up and stuff, but you said I should do something like that. So thank you. I just want to say that in the presence of the live stream.
Last one, Joe, do you want to give me a shout out at all?
Oh yeah, also Roz.
What's my award?
Your award.
Biggest
Hang on. No, Roz for speaking your mind, mate. I love it. Absolutely love it.
Being the most consistent contributor as well. Roz was doing like 3 shows with you a week at one point, Joe, including like an early morning FPL show that was, within an hour. The deadline had passed, and the advice was, so that's pretty admirable.
Yeah,
I've enjoyed. I think I cheers, but I mean, I preferred just speaking your mind. It's like sort of primary school teacher just going up to everyone in the class and just going, your best quality is you're really good at maths. Your best quality is you're going to be the next like great scientist. You just try your best, and you're always you, and that is special.
But that's the best kind of compliment.
I once had a supervisor who gave me a very similar report. He was like, there was like one line that was positive, and then like 4 paragraphs of just like tearing into me. The first line was, all that can be said of Mustafa is that he has great spirit. It was just like 4 lines of, but he's awful at writing essays.
Oh, lads, right? Let's finish.
Well, I'm gonna go and prep myself mentally for the playoff final. If anyone's wondering what to do when they're waiting for the Champions League final, it's Brentford versus Swansea, and I reckon Brentford are gonna bottle it.
Oh, I'd like to.
Chelsea will win the other one later.
So you're saying Swansea and Chelsea going to win today?
Swansea and Chelsea. Swansea are the best Championship side I've seen Millwall play this season. Brentford celebrated the semi-final like they actually got into the Premier League. Bless them. Serial bottle jobs. Brentford are like the Spurs of the Championship. For anyone that doesn't watch it, So yeah, I'm going for Swansea, and then later on, I reckon they've already beaten them twice this season. I reckon they're the absolute, their City's Achilles heel, their kryptonite. Going for Chelsea.
And you're just in love with Tommy Tuchel, aren't you?
Yeah. I want his outfit. For the Euros.
Wow.
For the Euros, I'll just turn up in his.
Yeah.
But in Millwall, obviously, a dark blue.
Yeah, you don't want to do Chelsea, mate. Not as a Millwall fan. Oh dear, get in trouble. Mus, predictions for later, quickly.
Yeah. So I'm going to go Brentford, Chelsea. I think Brentford. I'm hoping it'll be Brentford, Chelsea. But the Championship's Roz's area of expertise. I just, I still need to go and Google Swansea's manager. It sounds a bit like it's Thomas Frank versus Frankenstein's monster, but it can't.
It's more just like a really ugly fish.
Do I get to predict?
With a hook in his mouth. It's just
Oh my
like a
God.
great picture.
What's your prediction, Joe?
I can literally see the subscriber count going down in front of my face. Right. My prediction is different. So you both gone for something different. I'm going to go for Brentford and City.
Yeah.
There's no way. There's no way
favourites,
City are going to lose to Chelsea.
But all the
Sorry.
pressure. I don't think there's any pressure on Chelsea. City literally brought Pep in to win the Champions League. They'd already won leagues, they'd already won cups. They got the best manager at the time in world football, possibly still the best manager in world football, to win them the Champions League.
And that's what he's going to do today. Yeah.
So much pressure on them. Chelsea, like I said earlier, they weren't expected to be Atletico Madrid. Everyone was expecting that to be like an absolute tearing them a new arsehole, and they have just marched on to this final. No pressure on them. Main man, Mason Mount, Chelsea.
Okay, lads. Well, it's been a long goodbye. I started saying thank you and goodbye about 15 minutes ago, but it appears that we can't get enough of this and we just don't want to let it go until next season. But we're going to be doing Euros daily, so look out for that. If you're watching, subscribe to the channel and allow notifications so you get to see our pretty faces every day talking about football because, well, that's why we do it, so you guys can enjoy it. So, Roz, thank you very much, mate.
That's all, mate.
Mus, thank you very much, mate.
Cheers, mate.
And see you for the Euros in a couple of weeks. Bye.
It's coming home.
It's coming home. It's coming.
Okay, bye.
Football's coming home.